Welcome back to the Milk and Cookies podcast. It's me, Anthony, and Frankie. Fortunately, Alex and Leon couldn't be here with us. They're MIA, missing. But no, Alex has class and Leon's doing some school stuff and moving. But just me and Frankie here today. And wow, what a weekend it has been in the NFL. From Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady losing, unfortunately, to the Bengals winning, going to their first championship game in how many years?
1988.
1988 was the last playoff game, championship playoff game.
33 years it's been since they've been to a conference championship game.
Dang, that's crazy. But let's just take it game by game, honestly. First game of the week on Saturday was the Tennessee-Cincinnati game. What was your thoughts on that?
So I guess we're going from the fourth. So we're going in gradual order of the week, but also by best game because unfortunately, the Bengals Titans was the fourth best game of the week. I thought it was very telling how the Bengals won the game. Because all week I thought leading up to it, the Bengals can't play the brand of football that the Titans play, which is a highly sophisticated physical brand of football. I just didn't think they could play the way the Titans play. But now the Bengals can play against any team, regardless of the style of play.
Right.
The Titans made it physical. All right. Bengals responded.
Joe Burrow got sacked 8 times.
Well, 9 times, and it would have been 10 had it not been for a delay of game penalty. But the Bengals defense, what they were able to do was shut down Derrick Henry. They held Derrick Henry to just over 60 yards rushing on 20 carries. And this was a major storyline going in, Anthony, because we all thought, okay, Derrick Henry's back. They've got A.J. Brown. Julio Jones had a good game against Houston to close out the regular season. Tennessee is going to, put their foot on the gas in this game. They're going to come out, make a statement early. Crowd's going to be going crazy. Henry comes out. And then Ryan Tannehill.
And Hill won't be a Titan.
If the Titans aspire to get to the Super Bowl, and I know Nashville Sports Talk feels this way, the Titans need to move off of Ryan Tannehill. And he is no longer the right man for the job at quarterback in Tennessee. But the Bengals, give them credit. They hung in there. They were the tougher team. They made more plays, both offensively and defensively. And it helps when you have a really good kicker in Evan McPherson, rookie kicker, second straight postseason game, 4-4, including the game-winning 52-yarder at the gun. He also had a 54-yarder in the final 2 minutes of the first half. So the Bengals came to play, and they were rewarded. And I got to give them major credit for what they were able to do in a tough environment against a really tough physical defense. The offensive line had no chance against that defensive front. Give them credit. Anthony, what did you see in that game?
Well, you see, I was at a basketball game earlier, so I missed the majority of the game. But
which basketball game?
USF Temple.
Did USF win?
Yes, USF won.
Well, good.
I know, and I'm going to the game tomorrow.
Wait, was it a women's game or a men's game?
Women's. They were supposed to play men's, but it got canceled.
Temple has been on COVID and on COVID leave in men's.
But anyhow, I saw the ending, the second half, basically. What a second half. They came back, tied it up, and they went on a field goal. That's just one of 4 games that have won on a field goal. Sucks, but it's the way life goes. And it was all the away teams that won it on a field goal. After we get into this, we got the 49ers Packers.
All right, so if you thought the first game on Saturday,
if you thought the first game was popcorn to your butter or butter to your popcorn in the movies, this is going to be so much better.
Well, this was, I mean, you thought that was the Bengals Titans was like your hors d'oeuvres before your fancy dinner.
Appetizer.
And Niners Packers. Well, okay. Niners Packers was like your
main course.
Maybe main course 1 then because there's 4 games.
Yeah.
There's only 3-course meal, so you gotta go 4 here, okay?
Yeah, so or 5-course meal.
Niners Packers. Anthony, I kept saying to my family and my friend from Bristol, Connecticut, who was in Nashville for the game on Saturday. See, I went to the Bengals Titans game.
Mhm.
Great experience. So I'm in the hotel, and the Niners and the Packers are playing. And the Packers scored very early in the first quarter. You're thinking, okay, this game's going to be a blowout. But then you turn the game on late in the second quarter, and the Niners are driving, and they're in Green Bay territory, deep in Green Bay territory, and it's still
I
7 to
called it
nothing.
too. I called it too.
Yeah, and I think a lot. What'd you call? You call the Niners winning?
Yeah, Niners winning.
Okay, and I think I felt that I felt like the Niners could win the game, but I'm like, I don't know. It wasn't. I didn't think they could go up to Green Bay and win. But here's
I
the
got
thing:
Niners all the way in the NFC.
so many times that game could have gone completely sideways for them, and every single time their special teams made a play. Blocking a Mason Crosby field goal at the end of the first half. The blocked punt return for a touchdown with about 4 minutes to go in the game.
I'll
The
tell
long,
I'll tell
the,
you this.
go ahead.
The Packers special team coordinator is getting the boot. He ain't gonna be a special team coordinator anymore.
Well,
You saw what happened at the end of the game. The Packers only had 10 players on the field.
that's
10.
embarrassing.
It's
That's
just
embarrassing.
how do you not realize you have 10 players
Yeah,
on the
but
field?
that's not just on the special teams coach. That's also on the quality control coach. You know, there's a coach specifically in place to make sure that there are 11 players, no fewer, no more than 11 players on the field. But Anthony, I just think this: the longer the Niners continue to hang around, I kept saying
They're
I'm
gonna
getting
get
nervous.
stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I kept saying people, I'm nervous. They're going to win this game. And
And going into it Sunday, now you got the Rams, who just beat my Buccaneers. Unfortunate, very unfortunate. Still
yeah,
sad. Saddened.
well, I'll say this, Anthony.
Still a
I
Bucks
think
fan.
you should be.
Always.
I think this game says more about the Rams being slightly more talented than Tampa Bay than this game is about Tampa Bay losing. Tampa Bay did not lose this game.
No,
LA,
Tampa, we just committed too many stupid mistakes. Donovan Smith had his worst game of his career. There's some blatant missed calls. Namakasu got kicked by Matthew Stafford and doesn't get that called. He gets a taunting penalty though. Blatant roughing the passer call, not call, no show, no call, whatever. And then you lose on, and then the last play of the game of all out blitz to end the game, I would have been dropping back. I would have had more people back than whatever.
yeah. Well, you're right. And Tampa Bay, there were every game is going to have some controversial calls.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you saw it with your Raiders in the wild card round. You saw it in the 49ers Cowboys game. You know, I'm sure there were some controversial calls in the, Bengals Titans game and the Niners Packers game, and maybe some in the Bills Chiefs game. But at the end of the day,
Chiefs game though.
we'll get to that here in a minute. But what I'm saying,
that's like the final course.
that's like your wedding cake dessert almost. Anyway, no, actually it is your wedding cake. Anyway, the Rams Buccaneers. This game says far more about the Rams and how talented they are,
Yeah.
I think, than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay put up a hell of a fight to come back in that game because my thing was, and I didn't get to watch this game. I listened to this game driving back from Nashville, and
I was at work.
yeah, I do feel for you. I mean, how are you not off work the Sunday of your team playing?
No, so you know what?
No, because I'm saying
No. This is how it went. I was supposed to work that game. I was supposed to work. It's just when Raymond James told us when the schedule was, my schedule for Publix, or Publix, whatever you want to call it, was already out. So I'm like, I can't, I'm not going to be able to work this and whatever. And I tried getting people to cover and everything, and no one wanted to cover.
Well,
and I was working 11:30 to 7:30.
well, I bet
And
the
before my break, on my break, I was watching the first half of the game. I'm like, we're absolutely doing horrible. Second half of my shift, I'm like, okay, maybe there's a comeback. Fourth quarter, I see 27-13. 27-20, 27-27. I don't look at my phone for like 2 minutes and it says the Rams won it.
Yeah, that's another thing too with this game. It's everything happens so fast in that last 40-ish seconds.
Why would
actually,
you call it all? My thing is, why would you call an all-out blitz on when you're going up against one of the best receivers in the game to this day?
Yeah,
It's just like,
you're right.
why would
And-
you call it? Why would you do an all-out blitz?
And you know what? Well, because I think Todd Bowles believes that he can get to the quarterback. Unfortunately, there's
But
this.
some of the players apparently were like, they didn't know it was a blitz. Some were confused, some weren't. It was a bunch of misunderstanding.
Yeah,
And now you're looking into this. Brady may retire, so all the fake fans are gonna leave. If that's true or not, but all the fake fans they're gonna end up leaving. But
I don't think Tom Brady can leave like this.
no, Brady
I really
can't leave like this.
I
I
think
think he plays 1 to 2 more years. Plays 1 to 2 more years.
I think he
If
plays.
we re-sign the O-line.
Yeah, I mean you have
that's the main priority is to re-sign the offensive line.
Do you think Tristan Wirfs not playing in this game had an impact?
Oh, 100%.
Or I guess that's an obvious question. I guess the better
Tristan
question,
Wirfs is the best offensive lineman there is.
how much of an impact did it have?
If Tristan Wirfs was in that game, the game would be less. It would be a closer game throughout the whole game, I feel like.
Because you have your backup left tackle blocking Von Miller. What did you think was going to happen?
A heavy blitz 24/7, like nonstop.
Exactly.
And no offense, Josh Wells.
Raheem Morris is not dumb.
No, Wirfs, he's having off-season surgery. He'll be back next year. But
that's going to be something interesting.
The thing is, though, the football is not the factor if Brady retires. It's his family. That was on his podcast yesterday, the Let's Go podcast. He was saying it's all coming down to my family and everything if I should retire or not. Because what about his wife? Going out there every week, Tom Brady is, and you see him get hit left and right and whatnot and whatsoever and everything. How do you think that makes her feel or whatever, seeing that?
Yeah, and maybe that's because that's how this game
That's just how the game works. But my thing is, if Brady does retire, there is a couple options that they can do though. You got not Tristan Ward. You got Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask and Ryan Griffin as your quarterbacks right now. And then you gotta look into free agency, and then if no one's there, if no one's knocking on your door at free agency, you got the draft. But this draft class, what are you gonna do? It's not that strong of a class and everything. But you also have Kyle Trask. You got to give Trask some time. I say he doesn't start this coming year, but the next year. So leading into 2024, that's his year.
I think Brady's going to play one more season.
I think he's going to play one more season. He has to finish strong. He's always said he's going to play till he sucks.
Yeah, and Brady does not suck right now. Brady is coming off a year where he led the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns at the age of 44. There's no way he sucks. He did not have a great game on Sunday. I felt like he played. I felt like he was. Well, it's hard for me to say.
If our offensive line was healthy, would have been a complete different game.
I do agree with that because there were so many plays the Rams made that were impacted by the Rams getting pressure on Brady. And you could see Brady was frustrated.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to your thoughts on the Buccaneers calling an all-out blitz on that last drive.
I would have been dropping 4-6.
Exactly.
6 defensive back, double team Cooper Kupp.
Yes. You put 2 safeties back there in that situation.
You put Antoine Winfield Jr. back there, and you put
correct.
And I think it was like Sean Murphy Bunting or something.
You do not call an all-out blitz.
Not on the last play of the game.
In that situation, because the play before, when Cooper Kupp got 20 yards, should have sent a signal to Todd Bowles. oh, they're going for it here. They're going to try and win the game here because the Rams did not have. Did they have a timeout? They didn't have a
No,
timeout.
no teams had timeouts.
They did not have a
So
timeout. They didn't have a timeout. So I'm actually kind of contradicting myself here. So the Rams were gonna, where the Rams were
the
going,
Rams had the ball with like 48 seconds left.
yeah. But the pass to Cooper Kupp should have told you they were going to go for it,
Yeah.
regardless of if they did not have a timeout. You do not leave Cooper Kupp any chance that he gets open, and he was magnificent on Sunday. But I'll say this about the Rams. So often in sports recently, I feel like we see these teams that form what we call super teams. Miami started it in the NBA. They ultimately delivered 2 NBA championships and 4 straight NBA finals appearances. That super team worked out. But then there are other super teams like the Lakers in 2012, 2013. They got swept in the first round.
Yeah.
Then you have other super teams
like the Lightning.
Yeah, Tampa.
And they got swept to Columbus.
Correct. And then
that was such a horrible time for me.
MLB has had super teams. The Angels
Rays
in 2013.
The Rays last year.
Well, I'm talking like teams that have like 2 or 3 stars at one time.
Oh.
The Yankees have had that. They have not been to the World Series since 2009.
No, the Rays won in 2020.
That's true. So
Did they win though?
You're seeing all these super teams. Yes, the Warriors worked out. Ultimately, they demised.
They blew the 3-1 lead though.
Well, they did. Well, that was without Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
The super team, they delivered 2 NBA titles, but sometimes you see these super teams or teams with a lot of star power, and they don't end up. New England has had some teams like that did not deliver, or players ultimately left.
New Orleans.
The Saints.
The Saints.
Yeah, they've had a lot of star power and come up short. The Packers have done that
many years in a row.
Yeah. Anyway, but what I'm saying is like some super teams don't end up. Some super teams don't end up delivering. Like the Dodgers signed Max Scherzer. They only got to the NLCS. So those things happen.
Right.
And the Rams, they went out. Think about all they've done, Anthony, since January 30th of last year. Okay, go back to January.
For Matthew Stafford.
Correct.
You basically you get all these players, you get all the players, and then you send your picks away.
Correct.
You don't care about your pick. You don't care
that's
about
a risk.
Your future. They're going all in on. It's like blackjack at the casino, or blackjack at the casino.
They're winning right now. Anthony,
they are winning. Yeah,
they are one win away. They are one win away from the Super Bowl.
But you know what a key thing is though. Look, what was the most impactful thing in that second half of the Bucks Rams game?
The most impactful?
Well, the thing that cost the Rams to blow the lead.
Turnovers.
That's what you got to look at. The Rams started off strong, and if they want to beat the 49ers on Sunday, you got to not turn the ball over.
Correct. And that's
Cam Akers turned the ball over. Matthew Stafford had a couple interceptions. It's just you got to protect the ball, know where to throw to, but
but I also feel like in some games like that, when you're facing the reigning Super Bowl champions, you're going to make those mistakes. They're just bound to happen. The hardest thing to do is to knock out a champion. And even though the Rams were up 27-3, my sister sent me this text, Anthony, on Sunday during the game. She texted me when it's 27-3, Brady's just getting demolished. And at first I'm like, yeah, he is. But then
I remember what happened in the Super Bowl.
He hits Gronk. Yes, he hits Gronk for a big completion downfield. And I'm like, ooh, I don't think you should have said that. Did you not learn your lesson from Super Bowl 51? 28-7-3 is nothing for Tom Brady. He's done that before. And eventually the Buccaneers got too many opportunities where they weren't going to deliver. But this win says so much about the Rams and how all this star power has come together. Odell Beckham, you're not hearing much from him. He's just going out there and playing football.
Right.
Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in the NFL. He's dethroned Devontae Adams from that if he hadn't already prior to Sunday. And Matthew Stafford, and I've always been a big fan of his. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think you are going to see him in the Hall of Fame one day in Canton. He had the best game of his career. He had
Yeah.
the best game. He had the best game of his career. That's the biggest win of his
But
career.
my thing is, do you want to see what the Rams do, what the Bucks did last year, win a Super Bowl in their home stadium?
I don't really buy into that talk. If the Rams do end up winning the Super Bowl, it'll be what it'll be. But the Rams will be the visiting team in the Super Bowl because the NFC is the visiting team this year.
Yeah. No, the
Um,
NFC team was a visiting team last year.
I think Tampa Bay just wore their white jerseys.
No, we were the visiting team last year. They wouldn't let us fire the cannons.
Well, that's because the Super Bowl is technically a neutral site game.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl, yeah. What good would that have done anyway? There was, a limited crowd at the game, but I don't really buy into it much. Buy into that talk of, well, the Rams could win a second straight Super Bowl at home. Yeah, they could, but I don't really think they will.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've touched on.
Now we just got the Chiefs Bills.
Oh well.
Oh my God! If that overtime, they need to change the rules in overtime. If that overtime was like college, that score would have been over 100.
Yeah, but my question is this: what would you change the rules to? Because it's so easy, and I agree with you. They need to change the overtime rules because the fact that a game can be won on a coin flip is absurd.
No, each team gets two
It's
possessions.
just wrong.
Each team should get two possessions. Two possessions. If the Chiefs go down, march down the field or whatever, march down the field, and they score. Give the Bills another chance, see if they score again. Or play one full quarter. Play a 15-minute quarter, 2 timeouts. None of this one possession game stuff.
No. But Anthony, think about this. I would just play 15 minutes regardless. And whoever's winning after 15 minutes wins.
What if
And
it ended
then
in a tie, though?
if you get to a second overtime, then it's the first team to score wins.
Yeah.
Because football is such a violent game. I mean, you don't have to make it exactly like basketball where you play until there's a winner, because football is much more of a dangerous and context sport than basketball. But
every play, there's this chance of some player getting hurt.
But here's the thing. For those who want to change the overtime rules, and for those who for those who wish Josh Allen would have had a chance, I understand that. But even if the Bills score on their first possession of overtime, are we sure that Buffalo is going to stop? Okay, so then it's first team to win. Does Buffalo stop Kansas City on their next possession? My guess is no.
It would have just gone back and forth.
Your defense was atrocious on Sunday. Sorry. Yeah. And Anthony, let's not forget, Buffalo had the top scoring defense and the fewest yards allowed per game of any defense in the NFL. And they let the Chiefs do what they did. And that was a Chiefs team that the Bills shut down earlier in the regular season. If you remember Week 5 Sunday Night Football. Okay, but Anthony,
we got next week. I'm a Bengals fan for the week.
Well, yes, well, you better be a Bengals fan. We like
Bengals
that.
Niners. That's what I'm calling.
Spoiler alert, I think it's going to be that too. But what I'm saying to you is, let's not talk about too much about the overtime rules. Let's get into the quarterback duel that was between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And I think we're going to see
that was the same draft class, right?
Mahomes was 2017, Allen was 2018.
Okay, so it's a year off draft class, but I think that's the next Brady Manning.
I agree. I
100% agree. There are two good quarterbacks. Two good quarterbacks. It's just these past couple of times Mahomes has played the Bills, he's edged out the Bills.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with you. And here's the thing too, because the Bills are going to win their division for the next 10 years, I think. Because
it's the Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets.
Yeah, I mean, New England is their closest competition, and I don't even.
New England, they're up and down. Mac Jones may have had a fluke year. You never know.
New England's hard for me to predict. Never thought I'd say that 3 years ago.
And
But
then you got Miami, who's getting a new head coach. You still have Tua. Sorry, and
who's
Alex
that?
and Liam. But Miami's gonna. You never know what they're gonna do. They were 1-6 for the longest time this year. 1-6, and then they finished the season 10-7 or 9-7,
9-8.
9-8. So, and then Brian Flores gets fired because he wanted Deshaun Watson. It's crazy. But what I'm
It
saying
is.
about this, you never know what's gonna happen. And then you got the Jets, the measly Jets,
Well,
which they are.
you never know. You never know. But I do think Buffalo's going to be around for a long time. They
Oh
might
yeah,
lose. They might lose their offensive coordinator Brian Dable. But a report I saw or someone tweeted earlier today that Josh Allen's going to be in the loop as to who the Bills hire as their next offensive coordinator, and he likes Ken Dorsey.
from who?
And so he's going
From
to
who?
come in. Um, I don't. Why do I not know where he is right now? Anthony's.
He is.
He played in the NFL. I know that.
Yeah, he did play 5 replacement options for Bills offensive coordinator Brian Dowell.
So where was Dorsey previously?
Let's see.
His most recent position.
He's the coordinator of the quarterbacks for the Bills.
Okay, so that's an in-house promotion right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Now and really, Anthony, he's not going to have to change a whole lot of what he's doing because Buffalo's a pass-centric offense.
Yeah,
So it's just basically next man up, in other words.
pretty much. And then you need a new quarterback coach.
And with Mahomes, I
He's only
think
40 years old.
the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West for the foreseeable future. They've won it 6 straight years.
Unless the Raiders pull something. The Raiders are a team that you never know.
You never know. They're very resilient. I do believe when they're not committing
And
penalties.
whatever happens with their head coaching by Sekia or Harbaugh,
I don't think Jim Harbaugh's going there. The only other guy I can maybe
I
see
think it's
going
going to be Harbaugh.
interviewing him is Gerard Mayo, who used
That's
to be
a
a
possibility, but
it's a possibility, and I can see it, but I can't see him leaving Michigan, and therefore I don't think he's going to Las Vegas. But Anthony, think about this, okay? And I tweeted this earlier today. In the AFC, we have 5 really good quarterbacks
you got
that
Patrick Mahomes.
for the next decade plus. Mahomes, Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Justin Herbert.
What about Derek Carr?
He's slightly below them, but I think Derek Carr is good.
So like a top 10?
Top 10 quarterback. Oh, a top 10 in the AFC, yes. But as far as NFL, I think Carr has a case, but I don't think that he is I don't know if he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Then again, he did have a really good statistical season. But I just think about Anthony, the quarterback.
No, my thing is though, Carr's contract with the Raiders plays a future on who their next head coach is going to be.
Is it that way or is it the other way around?
No, it's that way.
Because the Raiders are going to get a head coach first.
I think it's going to be. I wanted to be Rich Bisaccia.
If it's Rich Bisaccia, then I believe Derek Carr will stay with the Raiders.
Yes.
If it's not Rich Bisaccia, I can see them moving off of Carr and maybe targeting somebody in free agency like an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
Rodgers to the Raiders is the 4th team listed.
Say that again.
Like in free agency, he's Rodgers to Oakland, the Vegas Raiders is the 4th team that's possible for where he goes.
Who's number 1? Denver. Denver's 1. Who's 2?
I gotta look at it.
It's probably Denver. It's probably Denver, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, 2 and 3 interchangeable, and then Vegas. But Anthony, think about this: with those 5 quarterbacks I just gave you, the quarterback matchups we're going to see annually, so long as Burrow, Allen, and Mahomes win their divisions for the next decade plus. Every year you're going to get the following: Allen, Mahomes, Mahomes, Burrow, Burrow, Allen, Burrow, Jackson twice a year, Mahomes, Herbert twice a year. Then the problem is with quarterbacks like Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson, you know, because the Bengals, I believe, are going to win multiple division titles over the years. I don't really know how good the Ravens are going to be. You know, you may not see so many Burrow Herbert or so many Allen Jackson or Jackson Mahomes. You
You mean
might see,
Patrick Mahomes?
well, no, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
Funny though.
yeah.
Yeah, you might see Herbert Jackson in the sense that the Ravens and Chargers finish second every year, but as far as division title winners going up against others, it's going to be Allen, Burrow, and Mahomes every year. I do believe that.
The other team was the 49ers.
I can maybe see him going there because he's from that area. Kyle Shanahan's similar to Matt LaFleur.
12 potential teams for
Why do
Rodgers.
I feel like Shanahan and LaFleur have coached? Oh, I think they coached together in.
You got the Denver Broncos. Now, if Rodgers goes to the Broncos, are they playoff contenders?
Yes, they already are with the roster that they have.
They just need a strong quarterback.
They showed it this year that they were a playoff contender. They were 7-6 with
Denver, Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. Remember, Roethlisberger is done. You got Mason Rudolph, but
see, here's the thing.
San
People
Francisco.
people are going to love to make that Aaron Rodgers signing as a big deal, but I would remind people of this. He's not getting younger. He's approaching 40 years old.
Yeah, but you can compare it to Brady though. Look at Brady. He's 44, almost 45, still playing in the league.
Yes, but Anthony, Brady is a different specimen. Aaron Rodgers does not put the time and work to take care of himself like Tom Brady does. So you don't know when Rodgers is going to fall apart. Now, the way he plays quarterback and how effortless he is or makes it seem, I think, plays to his advantage. But you don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be what he's been for the last 10 plus years for any team that signs him. The thought of it's intriguing, but you don't know if next year he takes a step back.
Then you got the Giants, the Saints, the Raiders, the Seahawks, the Patriots, Dolphins, Eagles, and then last team, the Packers and Browns.
How many teams will have a different starting quarterback next year, week 1, than they had this year?
Too many.
Okay, that's telling. Because I heard Colin Cowherd make this one earlier today.
I think
you think about what Allen and Mahomes did on Sunday.
One team's going to be the Giants.
Correct.
Daniel Jones is done. The Washington football team.
Yes.
I kind of want to see Kenny Pickett go there.
I think that'd be a good pick.
Either him or Corral.
Okay, so 2 teams in the NFC East will have a different quarterback. I believe there will be at least one.
Is Jalen Hurts the answer in Philly?
I don't think he's not the answer.
I give him a couple more years.
I think you have to.
And then if you look in the NFC,
you have to let him build off of what he did this year because he hasn't had much playing time. He's only had 1 full year.
Right. I thought this was his second year in the league.
Sorry, it is, but he didn't start. He didn't make his first start until week 14 of 2020.
Here, according to CBS, these are a couple teams, a couple quarterbacks that could be on the move this coming off season. You got Russell Wilson from the Seahawks. Potential suitors could be the Saints, the Raiders, Eagles, Dolphins, Broncos, or Steelers. I know you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to.
Okay, now that's interesting because
he is an underrated quarterback. I feel like
Russell Wilson. He always has been because he kind of gets lost in the shuffle with. He was lost in the shuffle with Brady and Manning and Breeze at the beginning of his career, and now he's in the shadows of Mahomes and I'm blanking here for some odd reason. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Hell, even in his own division, Jared Goff sometimes was talked about more than Jared Goff
For
was maybe
Frank,
better
Jared Goff.
than
The
Russell
next
Wilson.
team, the next quarterback. This one's going to be a little interesting.
But Anthony, let me ask you this. So you mentioned the Saints is the first team for a potential suitor for Russell Wilson. Okay.
You don't have a coach now.
As news broke today, Sean Payton is stepping away from head coach of the Saints. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm making that call to him right now.
Sean Payton?
Oh, yeah.
You could see they already said Mike McCarthy's staying in Dallas.
Well, I guess they're settling for mediocrity then.
I mean, no, Sean Payton's stepping away, like retiring. He's retiring.
The end of an era. It truly is the end of an era. Now, how attractive is the Saints job? I don't know. I think there are some talented players.
Well, I mean, the Saints job, it's like rebuilding. It's like rebuilding a college football team, basically. No quarterback. You got Ian Book, Jameis Winston, and Taysom Hill.
Yeah, but my thing with the Saints is they need some weapons.
They do, but remember this: their number one receiver stepped away from football this year.
That's true. That is true, and that's something to think about. Michael Thomas, when he plays, is maybe the best receiver in the NFL. I would say Cooper Kupp is now, but I just think about Anthony. The Saints actually have a talented roster. Their offensive line is really good. They have a really good running back that can do multiple different things. They have a defense that, when it plays at its best, is really good. So now the head coach is going to be different. Dennis Allen may get a head coaching job, their defensive coordinator this offseason. Who knows what they're going to do with their offensive coordinator? I believe it's
the next team,
Carmichael.
The next player, Kirk Cousins. Potential suitors: Browns, Broncos, Panthers.
Well, for any of those teams, what Kirk Cousins will give you is stability, because Kirk Cousins, I think, like Derek Carr,
good quarterback. Yeah,
I've always said Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He's just not there. He's not special. I mean, the thing about the NFL today is if you don't have it and you're not special, you're just another quarterback in the league. You're not a Mahomes or an Allen or a Brady or a Rodgers. And I would put Stafford and Burrow next, maybe Kyler in there too.
Next quarterback, Matt Ryan, if traded. And the potential suitors could be Broncos, Browns, Washington, or Steelers.
Again, it's just about providing stability.
Same with Derek Carr, if traded: Broncos, Browns, Steelers, Saints, Panthers, Washington.
I can't see Derek Carr going to a division rival.
No, I can't. That's like Eric Bieniemy being the head coach of the Raiders.
Yeah, and if I'm Derek Carr, I'm also thinking, do I want to play in the AFC West again?
Right.
Like,
this one's gonna be a pain to our two Dolphin fans on the episode. Not here now, obviously, but in spirit they are. You got Tua Tagovailoa, if traded. Keyword, if traded. Potential suitors: Texans, Washington, Seahawks, Lions, Panthers.
I don't know why any team would want him, because I don't really see anything special with him.
He's only been in the league 2 years. You can't make the case if he's a bust or not.
Every time I'm ready to maybe say, okay, there's something there, there's not. Anthony, what does he do? Dinks and dunks all over the field. You can't win games like that. This isn't the old SEC days. No, this is if you don't have a good arm, if you're not special and you don't have that magic that so many quarterbacks in the NFL, like Mahomes, Allen, and all the other quarterbacks I've mentioned on the show already.
The next quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. And potential suitors: Saints, Panthers, Giants, or Falcons.
Jimmy G, I like.
I like Jimmy G's story.
Jimmy G is someone who has been to a Super Bowl, which that right there is enough for me to consider. He doesn't turn the ball over. Again, he's not flashy, but I think people forget how good he was at the end of 2019. That game that the Niners won in New Orleans, he was spectacular in that game.
Yeah.
Well, let's not continue to make this show so much about, quarterbacks in the offseason. We have two compelling conference championship games this weekend. In the AFC, you have the Bengals and the Chiefs, and in the NFC, you have the 49ers and the Rams, both rematches of great late regular season games.
Oh yeah.
And
the Bengals did beat the Chiefs in the late regular season.
They did. And that's
so
why,
if there but that was in Cincinnati though. That was in Cincinnati. Now you're going to a cold Arrowhead Stadium. Going to a cold Arrowhead
it's actually
Stadium.
supposed to be in the mid to high 40s, I believe.
That's cold to me. I'm from Florida.
Well, okay.
And right now in Florida, it is 50 degrees and raining.
It's cold for Florida. Anyway,
It's cold all week.
Was this the best playoff weekend of football you've ever seen?
Despite the Bucks losing, yes.
See, I texted this to my dad on Monday morning. I said, we love as NFL fans to hate on Roger Goodell. And yet his sport, his product, his business is the king of television, and it's not even close.
Right.
Like, I know he's done some things throughout his tenure as commissioner that we don't agree with.
Right.
At the same time, think about how much the NFL has grown, and before all the new technology came out.
Here's another thing. Why is in the Bills Chiefs game? Why is Tyreek allowed to throw up the peace sign and that? But if Antoine Winfield Jr. does it in the Super Bowl, he gets fined.
Because the NFL loves offense. That's just the way it goes.
They love offense, but if you're gonna make the call, throwing up the peace sign, that's taunting. What? You got to fix officiating.
I mean, there is merit to that. I don't think taunting penalties should exist. If you want to have unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, which is essentially what taunting is, I mean, I don't know. I think there should be more trash talk that goes on a football field than what you get sometimes. I mean, this isn't baseball where there's unwritten rules of how you should act if you crush a ball off a pitcher and flip your bat and whatnot and debate
Jose
that,
Bautista.
which I still don't have a problem with to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the game, but
exactly. All right. For me, it definitely was. I'm having a hard time remembering another weekend of playoff football that was better than this. Conference championship Sunday 3 years ago was memorable. Rams, Saints, Patriots, Chiefs. I'm trying to remember if there was another 2011 conference championship weekend was pretty good. Ravens Patriots when the Ravens missed a 32-yard field goal near the gun, and Giants Niners went to overtime, won on a game-winning field goal by the Giants. Other than that, I don't know if there's been. I mean, these are all just other great weekends. 2006 Divisional Round playoffs, 3 games decided by 3 points or less, and the other game
team won on a field goal.
The other and 3 road teams won on a game-winning field goal at the gun.
Yeah,
and I mean, no, but I don't think you can top a weekend, Anthony, where all 4 games are decided on the last play of every game. You can't. No. You can duplicate it, but you can't top it.
Right. It's just one of those games.
Yeah, it is one of those games. And you know what's funny is, how we're transitioning this podcast into all sports?
Soon, very soon.
Yeah. What's interesting is I didn't know that there was a college basketball game last night between Texas Tech and Kansas.
Kansas football is horrible. My best friend, though, she goes to K-State. She hates Kansas. But, it is what it is.
It's a rivalry, especially on a basketball level. Kansas won that game in double overtime. Like, I'm thinking about it today. Like, the Monday after the Super Bowl, we're going to be a month away from the start of the NCAA tournament. And,
that's going to be
college basketball is going to be, heating up at the right time. Conference tournaments are going to start soon.
You got conference tournaments with college basketball. College baseball starting up soon.
That's true.
You got the ending of men's and women's basketball.
Yeah, you got the NBA, MLB made some progress
Thankfully,
in their
they made some
lockout
progress. So there's
negotiations
a hope for
on
a season.
Monday.
There's hope for a season. I mean,
All right. Are we ready to move on to the predictions?
want to do that in the next episode.
Yes.
All right. So thank you for watching this episode, even though it was just me and Frankie today. But next week or later on, maybe another sneak peek episode later on this week. I don't know of any episode for the playoffs and whatever and what's so not coming out. But don't forget, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help a lot. Even if it's just a comment thinking what your Super Bowl prediction is, it means a lot. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.